Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with Crafty Heron Designs. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this fun card. I've got lots of techniques to share with you today. We're going to do some blending with the blending brushes. We're going to do some embossing, and we're going to actually highlight that embossing with white crafting. I don't know if you can see that there. Maybe a little bit. We're going to do some comparison, this embossing, heat embossing, and I'm going to use one of the new Wow embossing, the bright white, and we're going to see if there's a difference. This is, I'll tell you about the way I did this one, and then we'll do it in a new way, and you can let me know if you decide if it's better or not. We got some die cutting and a little bit of Winkostella. So I hope you'll join me all the way till the end. And I hope you learned something new or maybe a reminder of something that you forgot about. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way, and I'll give you the measurements. Now, we made this card in one of my classes, and so the kit for my students comes with the card base. Let me move that out of the way. So the card base is 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And you can get 2 card bases out of each piece of cardstock. So we'll go ahead and fold that and set it aside. Then the next layer, actually I've already done the die cutting for you, as you can see. It started out, this was actually just 5 1/4, or excuse me, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And I die cut it with the postage dies. Aren't these cool? This is the largest of the postage dies. Let me show you. Here they are. So they come, there's one smaller one there, and then we're using the rectangle there too. So these are the postage dies. They are, I think they might only be available online. They were in the mini catalog in January, I believe, but they are still available, and there's some great nesting dies in here, some squares, rectangles, and some other fun stuff. So we're going to use that today. And then we have the next layer is the one that we're going to actually do some coloring and dry embossing on. This one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and you can see how it layers really nicely there. And then I got a piece of scrap. This paper is Fresh Freesia. Just love this color, one of my favorites. This and Flirty Flamingo, I think, are 2 of my favorites. Oh, but then there's Pool Party. I don't know. I like them all. What can I say? And I've already, well, no, I haven't. I've already die cut this piece. I'm gonna do some layering. This is one of the dies from the Thoughtful Wishes die set. You can see it's got some great dies that cut out some stamped images and some leaves, but also just some standalone. So I cut one piece out, and I'm going to show you how we're going to layer it. We're going to cut this one out together because I'm going to show you how to use the adhesive sheets to do that. And that's really just, those are the pieces that we need for our card. So really not a lot. This is a piece of white scrap for that. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that first. Let me think. Nope. I think what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and do the blending, because I want that to dry before I heat emboss it. So, or dry emboss it. So let me bring this in. And I've got 3 colors. I've got Fresh Freesia, Azure Afternoon, and Lemon Lolly. So kind of an unusual combination, I think, but I thought it was pretty, just something different. And so I'm going to start with the Lemon Lolly, since it's the lightest color. And as you can see, my blending brush has already got, I've already used it. I'm going to just double check and make sure there's nothing on it that, it's got a little bit of yellow on it, but that's okay. So the secret when you're doing this is you dab in the ink pad and then kind of stamp off a little, or tap off. And I'm going to start in this corner. And now the yellow's the lightest, so I'm going to go over it several times just to give me some depth of color. but I'm not being too particular about what I'm doing because I am going to go over this with the embossing folder. So there, I'm going to go over here and do that. So same idea. You can see I kind of tap on, tap off. What is it? Is it the Karate Kid? Remember how he did? It wasn't really tap on, tap off, but was it that motion that he did, right? So now I'm going to come down here. I've got kind of those corners. I don't want it to be too symmetrical, but I want to leave some space in between because I'm going to come in and do some more, add some more color. So I'm just creating a background here. These blending brushes are great to create backgrounds with. So let me do that. Okay, let me set that one aside. I'm going to close it because inevitably, if I don't, I'll accidentally, do this one, put it in the wrong color. All right, so now this is the fresh freesia. I'm going to come in, double check my blending brush. It's fine. This is kind of a purple. Let's see, I'm gonna go, I think right here. So I will kind of overlap a little bit. But not too much, you know, on that lemon lolly. So there we go. Create there. I'm leaving a little room in that corner for the blue. I'm going to come, I think this corner is where I'm going to do some more purple. Am I off the page here? It's easier if you turn it. You do have to be a little bit careful as you go to the edges, but I don't mind if it's kind of darker. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to come in here with the purple here. And then I can always come back again and fill in. I just kind of want it to be a little bit random, just colorful. I'm not doing it in a particular spot. All right, let's bring in the blue. I might need to come back again with the fresh freesia and try that again. So this is Azure Afternoon, and it's a pretty dark color, but it doesn't, I don't know, I think it's pretty, and I like the way it looks with the lemon lolly and the fresh freesia. It's just a little different kind of a color combination, I think. And then of course, as I cross over and combine it with the other colors, it kind of takes on a life of its own. All right, let's go in this corner. Adds, so of course, yellow and blue, you get a little bit of green. Oh, see how I did that? I'm really not crazy about that, but it'll have to do. So the problem here was I tapped and then I didn't really take enough off before I came in here. So I would say don't come in from your edges, go the other way. So come in from the middle and go out, because I'm gonna work with it, but now I'm debating, do I wanna do all my edges like that? We'll see. We'll see what it looks like when we're done. You know, there are never mistakes. They're just opportunities to change things up a little bit. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it'll be all right. Let's see. Let's put it on here. Ooh, that's bright. I think I need more of the fresh freesia, so I can pull in the other. Here we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see how that looks. A little bit more in this corner. It's like an Easter egg. Maybe this should be an Easter card. What do you think? Okay. There we go. All right, let's put this all aside. My original card was a different blue. So it's a lighter blue. I wanted to try it with this one and see how it worked. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside for a minute, and then we'll do some more of die cutting because we're gonna emboss that with the embossing folder. Okay, so now the next thing I need to cut out is this image here, and I've just got a piece of white. And what I wanted to show you is we're going to use these adhesive sheets because I'm going to attach these two together. All right, the white and that one. So I want to use an adhesive sheet for that. So the adhesive sheets come in this package. There are 12 of these sheets. They're 12 inches by 6 inches. And I'll show you, because I've already cut out one for what I'm going to do. But I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see, there are seams here, and that's where the adhesive backing or the backing is going to come off. So I try when I can to cut a piece that's going to end up having that backing on it. So all I'm going to do, it doesn't need to be perfect. So I'm actually going to bring in a pair of scissors, and that's about the size that I want, right? I don't even need the whole thing to be there. I can actually do it this way. Bring in my scissors and cut this out. Now, if you want to be really precise, feel free to use your trimmer. But you can see this is the direction that those edges are going in. So I'm trying to make sure that I get at least one of them in my sheet here. Okay, set that aside. Bring this in. And the reason for that is, see how easily that comes up? It can be done without it, but boy, I'll tell you, life is much easier when you do have it. And then what I'm gonna do is just attach that, press that down, line it up, and pull that one off, and there we go. All right, so as you can see, I'm a little bit bigger. So I think all I'm gonna do, let me think about this. I'm gonna just curl that over because I just don't want my plates to get gummy. So I'm just gonna curl that over to get it out of the way. I don't wanna use my scissors on it either because I don't want my scissors to get glue on them. So I think this will be the best way to do it because that's all gonna be cut off anyway. So, and so the sticky is on the back, right? The adhesive sheet is on the back. I'm gonna die cut on the front. I can't tell you how many times I have forgotten that and die cut right on top of the sticker. I don't know what my problem is, but it's been done. Happens, right? So let me bring in my die cutting machine. Make a little room here for it. And I'm gonna bring in my plates. So just a regular sandwich, right? We've got the base plate, 1, the plate 2, which is the thin die adapter, 1 cutting plate. I'm gonna put this in, and then I'm gonna put another cutting plate on top of that. And I'm just kind of centering it. Let's see, making sure, oh, see, this is the edge that I don't have any adhesive on, so. There we go. And I'm just gonna run that through. Now, because it's 2 layers, it's the adhesive sheet and the die, and it's fairly intricate, I'm gonna go through twice just to make sure that I get a good image. And yes, you can see that it's coming out really nice and cleanly. So let me set that aside because since I've got this out, I'm gonna do the embossing on my background piece. So for the embossing, base plate, we're using the Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. I like to label mine so that I remember which ones they are and whether they're 3D or not, although you can tell because they're pretty thick. And then I'm gonna bring this in, and I'm kind of looking at where I've got it. I want my florals to be pretty dominant on the paper. So put that in. You always put your embossing folder with the folded edge in first, and then I'm bringing the plate number 4. And this I'm gonna just run through one time. You don't wanna run your embossing folders through more than once because sometimes they can actually cut through the paper, especially if they're really thick. So, there we go. Quite the rainbow effect, isn't it? All right. So now, bring this in again. This was my scrap paper. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to take the white craft ink, this is the white, and when you get this, let's see, I should have got a little something on there, so let me clean that off a minute. I'm gonna just take, and you have to be careful because you don't wanna tear up your craft pad. But if you've never used the white ink before, when it comes, I just had a piece of hair there, I just wanna get rid of it. When it comes, it has, it is uninked, and you have to ink it yourself. So let's see whether I need to re-ink this or not. I don't want too much ink on this one because all I'm gonna do is very gently, I'm gonna glide over the raised edges of the embossed image. So very gently. I'm not pressing too hard because I only want to go over the raised image. And I'm kind of turning it around. Yeah, that's good. And, ooh, okay, that one stuck a little bit, but it's okay. It tones it down a little bit, and it really has a really interesting effect. So my class this month is all about kind of using white to on your cards, different ways to use white. I'm going to have another one we're going to use, my next in the series, we're going to use white colored pencil, a white pencil on a dark cardstock. I'll show you how to do that. I think that's good. And you just keep going until you decide you've had enough. I'm going to try. It's always kind of scary, isn't it? Because I don't want to do too much. It's like, oh, should I have stopped? There we go. All right, I think that's good, but I want to set this aside now to dry. Can you see that? I think you can. I think you can see it in the camera. All right, now set this aside and let it dry, and we'll assemble the rest of the card. Okay, so next, let's put these two pieces together. Bring in my take your pick tool so that I can get this out. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so that the sticky doesn't attach to the surface here. And all I'm going to do is take the backing off. See how nice and easy that comes off? And let me take my reverse tweezers so I don't get this all over my fingers. And what's going to happen is it's going to line up so that the flowers are visible. So I'm going to start, I'm looking at the bottom, I'm holding it with my hand, I'm looking here at the bottom and just kind of lining that up. Okay, and then as I work my way up, that one, there, I'm trying to cover up the purple with the white and kind of gently going in to get it all lined up before I press down on it. There we go, okay. And you can, as you see, I'm just kind of wiggling it around. It helps when I turn the image to me. I'm holding on the flower. There, and then this one just needs to be, again, kind of holding the flower. Maybe this way. There we go. All right. And of course, if a little bit of it shows, it's not a big deal. But there we go. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, you know, I could have, what I have done in some of my other cards is I cut the piece that I cut out of Fresh Freesia. I just used markers or watercolors to color the flowers. That's absolutely a great way to do it as well. But I wanted to try something different and show you another way that you can do this. So there we go. And of course, that adhesive is wonderful when you've got such a small image. Trying to do it with liquid glue would be very messy. All right, let me set that one aside. Now we're gonna do some heat embossing. So we have dry embossing, that was with the folder. And now we have some heat embossing. And this is where you're gonna help me decide whether these wow embossing powders are really wow. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. So they come in, this is the white that we're gonna use today. It comes in white, a clear gloss regular, and ebony, primary ebony, which is a black. And they also, there's another set that comes in silver, gold, and copper. So today we're gonna try the white. So let me bring in my embossing tools. It's gonna be a little noisy, but, so we are gonna emboss the sentiment. Except that I don't see it on my table. Now I know I had it out here. Here it is. All right, it's the sentiment that we're gonna emboss today. So I'm gonna use this embossing buddy, and I just rub it over my paper just so that if there's any static, that it will not, it gets rid of some of the static, and you can kind of see. So that the, nothing else, so the powder only sticks where I want it to stick. So I'm looking at, this is Best Birthday Wishes, and so it's nice and sticky. This is a Versamark ink that I'm using. Versamark ink pad. It's a watermark stamp pad. It's basically clear, but sticky. And I'm going to use, where's my die? Well, I know the die is gonna be, I need it in the middle. So let me do that. Okay. I think that's gonna be good. Put that aside. Put that aside and bring in, I like to use a coffee filter, but you can use whatever you want. Oh my goodness, okay. So this is the embossing powder. I'm gonna put the embossing powder over the image that I just stamped, and then that powder sticks to the image. Tack the back. Looks fine. I might have missed a little bit there. Now, I don't know whether I missed it when I stamped. No, I think that's good. I maybe missed it when I put the powder on. Just make sure I get it everywhere. And it's nice to have some really bright lights to look at it. So I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna take the excess powder and pour it back into my little jar. And then I'm gonna set all this aside and bring in my heat gun. Now, I like to use, I have this stainless tray that I got at Goodwill. It was, I don't know, it was probably part of a tea set or something years ago. But I got it at Goodwill, it was $1, and it just protects my surface, and I like to use it. So I'm gonna warn you that this is gonna get loud, so if you wanna turn your volume down a little bit, I'm about to turn on the heat gun, and our heat gun has 2 levels. For heat embossing, I'm gonna go all the way up to number 2. So here we go. And it's kind of magical when it does heat up. Usually it takes about 30 seconds or so for it to heat up. And the metal is kind of nice because the metal heats up as well. Can you see that? See how fast that's coming? Part of that is because I've got it on the metal, but part of it is just because once it gets going, whoo, oh man. Oh, you know what? I think these are wow embossing. Wow, that's a great image. I'll bring the other one in and you can compare it at the end. But I will say that's the first time I've used those new embossing powders, and it is a great image. I don't see any like spaces in there at all, where sometimes it doesn't really like melt enough and connect all of the powder, but that is really okay. Let me get on with it. Quit admiring the work. All right, so now I have to die cut that piece, and here's my die. So many things on my table. So here's the die. In the original, I left a little bit of room in the top. I kind of want it because I'm going to put some gemstones there. So I'm going to line that up about like that. So let me go ahead and bring in that embossing machine again. And go ahead and cut that. I'm going to make sure that it's good and dry. Yep. Usually want to just give it a minute or two just to make sure it's not gonna flatten out on you. And I'm just lining that up and carefully pressing it down. Guess what I did? Oh, it's on the other side. That's okay. Run that through. And that one should only need to go through once. So, here we go. Very nice. Okay, so I think we only have one other thing to stamp, and that's the inside of the card, and then we can put everything back together. So I'm gonna bring in, I forgot to tell you, this sentiment is from Poised Peony, and then this is the image that we're gonna use on the envelope and on the inside of the card. So I'm gonna bring this back, so that if my image goes off a little bit, it doesn't get all over my work surface. And I'm just gonna do a little, I'm off to the side. There we go. And then the same thing on my envelope, because we don't want any naked envelopes. It's always a good idea to take a peek at it. Make sure you got ink all over it. The cling stamps are nice, that way you can typically you can see if you've got enough ink on them. Okay, here we go. Let's set that aside. I don't think I need that anymore. There's the card base. And I just need to check and make sure that this is dry. It might be a little wet still. What I'll do is I'll use my paper over it in case it's still a little bit wet. So this is the bottom layer. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to my card base. And there we go. As I said, this is the first of 3 videos we're going to do with white craft ink or just white ink, and different ways you can use them on your cards. There we go. So we did heat embossing, and we did the white craft ink over the top of a dry embossed image. There we go. I'm trying not to press on the white ink. I'm going to bring this in here and go ahead and put on it so that, yes, okay. Just in case it wasn't totally dry, I didn't want it to smear. All right, and then this is going to go on dimensionals. Let's see here, my dimensionals. If you're on my newsletter, I've got a special this month. Did an adhesive kit. So it's a little tote with all the different adhesives that you could possibly need. Everything from foam strips to dimensionals, black dimensionals, regular dimensionals, mini dimensionals, whatever you need. Liquid glue. The only thing I don't have in it is tape runner. I'm not a big fan of tape runner. And I kind of feel like you're either a liquid glue or a tape runner. There are some times that I do tape runner, but I didn't include it in my adhesive kit. But if you want to learn more about that, please join my mailing list. You can find that information on the YouTube description, or if you're on Facebook, it's also on the description. So would love for you to join my mailing list. Also, you'll hear about my classes that I have, that I offer in the Greensboro, Georgia area. And some of those classes are also available as like kits to go. So join my mailing list. You'll get all the information about Stampin' Up promotions and anything you need that you need to know about Stampin' Up, and notification of other videos and things that I do are all on my newsletter. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm using a glue dot. It's too small to pop up totally, and I didn't really want to use liquid glue because I thought it would be messy. I don't want the whole thing to be flat, and this is a raised image anyway, so I just didn't think it would work. But I'll tell you, these glue dots are perfect. I'm just using 2 of them, and you can see I just kind of put them at those strategic locations, and I'm gonna just put this just right kind of off to the side a little bit. There we go, there and there, and that's gonna stick. It's not gonna come off at all. And then I'm gonna bring in this Baker's Twine. This is part of the 3-color pack, the Twine 3-color pack. It has Balmy Blue, Lemon Lolly, and Flirty Flamingo. This, of course, is Lemon Lolly, but I think the Balmy Blue would work as well. But I like the little bit of lemon. So I'm just creating a nice little bow. It's really easy to work with, and gonna attach that to the front of the card, along with some, I always attach ribbon twine with a glue dot, and then we're gonna bring in and we're gonna have some embellishments. So let's see, I think I want this to be like down here. So I'm actually gonna put the glue dot where I want the bow to go, and then I'm gonna bring in my bow and put it on top of there. There we go. Smush it down a little bit. Cute. Oh my gosh, I hope you think this is cute. I think it's adorable. So now, see, on the original one, the blue was much lighter, so I did yellow, but now I'm wondering if I should do the blue. So these are the Rainbow Adhesive-Backed Dots. I have to put the colors on because I forget. So Fresh Freesia, Pool Party, Lemon Lolly, Petal Pink, Balmy Blue, Flirty Flamingo. This is Petal Pink. This is Bubble Bath. That's the one I missed, Bubble Bath. So lots of great colors. I don't know, what do you think? I'm losing them. It's stuck to the back. I think maybe I will do the yellow again, because I've got the yellow there. Let me see. Let's see what that looks like this way. And let's see, I did one in the middle. Oh, I do kind of like that. I just did a big one in the middle and 2 smaller ones on the side. Slide it over a little bit. There we go. Well, I think that's cute. I like the bright blue. I wasn't so sure I was going to like it, but let me bring in the other one, and you tell me what you think. Love for you to make some comments. So clearly this is a little more pastel. I think this is more springy. Oh, and I forgot I'm going to do Wink Stella. I'll do that in a minute. But look at the difference in the heat embossing. Definitely, this wow powder is definitely a wow. See how there's like little areas where it didn't melt together all the way in this older one? And this is a Stampin' Up powder, but I think the technology has just changed. These Wow embossing powders have just come out recently, and I think there's no doubt that for me, that was worth it. So this one's a little brighter, a little more summery, I think. This one's a little more spring. I think anybody would love to get the card either way. But if you decide that you like the lighter blue, I think this was Pool Party. So go ahead and, do the lighter blue. The Azure Afternoon is definitely a brighter color. And now I'm just going in with a little bit of Wink of Stella just to add a little bit of fun to these flowers. And as you see, it's easy enough to do. This is something I do like to do kind of at the end, and then it'll just sit and dry before I handle it again. So thanks for joining me today. Again, my name is Linda Edwards. If you do not have that Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you are currently working with, I'd love to help you unleash your inner creativity. All of the items that you see that I used today can be found on my online store, www.craftyherondesigns.com. And join me again in probably once a week. I'll do the other videos to learn more about using either white craft ink or white pencil for in your crafts. Just some fun different techniques for you to learn. Bye for now.